Let's talk about Dak first.
Okay.
Because is it fair to say Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys quarterback, hot-and guy, is it fair to say, and I think it is, that for the first 2 games of the season he has struggled a little bit? Even in the opening game win against the Giants, he was not as at his best.
Yep.
In fact, what's the old Groucho Marx line? Are you going to believe me or your own lion eyes? After the first game against the Giants, where he was missing open receivers, he was overthrowing, it was not his best effort. I heard a couple of sports analysts, pundits, say, that win against the Giants showed me why Dak will be an elite starting quarterback in this league for at least a decade, because he willed his team to a win. And I'm thinking, wait a second. He's had way better games. He was not sharp against the Giants. It was not his best effort and or outing. Nope. And then this past Sunday, just a couple of days ago against Denver, the whole team was bad.
Yeah.
But it was
an egg-sucking weekend.
It was not a good weekend for Dak. Now, sort of related to that, I'm also reading a lot of articles the last few days, seeing a lot of interviews, that Tony Romo is the greatest football
He's good.
analyst of all time.
He's really
and
good.
there's this one video that's going around where it's Romo predicting the play as they come to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a run left. It's going to be a run right.
Yep.
They're going to double blitz safeties, whatever. And at one point, I guess he's working with Jim Nantz.
Yes.
And he says, Romo says, it's going to be a safety blitz off the left side. And the safety blitzes off the left side. And Nantz says, almost with disbelief, how did you see that? He said, I was an NFL quarterback for 14 years.
Yeah. I know what I know.
The critical analysis of Romo to this point is that he is absolutely brilliant and already.
And he's so hot.
In the top 2 or 3 of football analysts.
He's got a long career doing that.
At the network
you
level.
You bet.
So I asked you last hour, I said, what's the biggest difference between the Cowboys this season and last season?
Oh, it's so easy.
Last season, when Dak was awesome, and this season when he's struggling in the first 2 games. With all respect to Dak, and don't get me wrong, I want the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl for no other reason than he's from here. But I ask you, what's the biggest difference between the Cowboys this season and last? And you said
they have been struggling running the ball. Yeah. Last year, you knew. Let me finish. Will you shut up a
minute? I'm not.
Last year, they ran the ball as well as anyone in the league.
Yeah.
This year, that's not happening. When you have Ezekiel Elliott running for 8 total yards in a game, you got a problem, bucko.
Not going to argue that at all. But it's not the big point I was going to make. What's the big difference? Let me sort of narrow it down. What's the biggest personnel difference between this season and last that might give you some insight into why Dak is struggling? Who was there last year that's not there this year?
I don't know.
I just told you.
Tony Romo's not on the sideline with a headset.
Romo's not helping you, telling you who. Yeah, you got a point. He's not there telling you, here's what's coming.
Do you think the biggest difference...
Double blitz coming up the middle.
Do you think that last year...
Interesting point.
When the Cowboys would study game film, and Dak's a rookie, and he's kind of... I don't know what to look for. He's got Tony Romo in the room saying, here's what you look for. Here are the keys. Here's what's going to happen. If he does this, this guy's going to do this, and you do this.
That's a good point.
In the middle of the game, when they're sending you down those photos from way high up, and you see sitting on the sideline, drawing circles and play. The difference between the Cowboys last year and the Cowboys this year, and I proffer to you the following theory. The difference between Dak Prescott last year and Dak Prescott this year is that Tony Romo is not standing on the sideline to talk to him, to advise him, to coach him.
I hadn't thought of that.
If you're looking at circumstantial evidence,
Yeah.
the only big difference between the Cowboys this season and last,
Yeah.
who's not there this year?
Romo was able to be there and see things that Dak couldn't see, and he's not there now.
And bringing all the experience. The guy the Cowboys really need is Tony Romo. They just need him on the sideline with his arm in a sling.